Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Soothing Sundays. This I live stream twice a week, Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. And on Sundays, for Soothing Sunday, we just get ready for the week. We release any Sunday scaries and just put our intentions out for the week. I'm going to start with a neurological reprogramming tool that will help get you calibrated for the week. And you just have to remember to implement it. And every Sunday we go over a different tool that helps you recalibrate for the week. Hi, Bob. How are you? So, on Wednesday, we were talking about borderline personality disorder and how DBT is wonderful for it. And I wanted to do more of that for the neurological reprogramming tool of the week. I'm good. It's been a busy week, but just chill and very happy to be here. So I'm going to actually go over two neurological reprogramming techniques that are related to DBT. And the first one is called building mastery or mastery building. And that's one I go over a lot, but it's worth repeating in DBT. It's just what it is that you do one thing, you commit to one thing, and it's just something small. It's something very like that you could easily do, but it's something that maybe you ignore, you put off, or you have a feedback loop around where you're like, I'm definitely going to do that. And then you don't, and you kind of judge yourself for it. So we're going to get out of that feedback loop by deciding to take contrary action or some type of action towards that. So it could literally be going to bed a little bit earlier or working out 3 days a week instead of once or twice. So whatever that is, and you're just building a little bit of mastery towards someone that works out every day, right? So pick something that's for like, it could be drinking more water. I mean, really, it could be anything. It could be reading X amount of pages of a book every day. And that's something you want to do, but you've been putting off, because when you decide to commit to that, you are building mastery towards that. And all of a sudden you're an avid reader. So the first tool is building mastery. So think about what you're going to do. It's just like one little behavior change, and you get to congratulate yourself every time you do it. Hi, Lauren. I'm excited to be here tonight. I'm excited to have you, Jabbar. Nice to see you. Yeah. Seen you in the comment section, so it's good to see you here as well. And then the next, so in DBT, there's all these like acronyms, and acronyms just help you remember things. And so there's so many of them, and I'm just going to do one at a time because I get excited, and then I'm like, let's do this one. Let's talk about this one. But the one that I think goes really well with building mastery is called vitals. And so each letter stands for something. So in DBT, the tool, the neurological reprogramming tool around vitals, it stands for validating yourself, imagine success. So starting with validating yourself, I have it pulled up here. And this is especially true when you feel under stress, or when you're just in that mindset of like, okay, yeah, I did that, but now I need to move on to the next thing. No, take a moment to validate yourself or celebrate your wins. Now, if you're under stress, take a moment and validate yourself. Notice it. Notice like, okay, I'm feeling this way. Totally fine. Right? So you're getting a separation from it, because we're not in the total rational, logical mind, and we're not completely swept up in the emotional mind. It's bringing us right into that logical mind when we start with the validation part of the vitals. So validate yourself what's going on, or give yourself props for something well that you've done. The next one is imagining success. So you're going to imagine whatever you're working towards. So again, if you're working towards something you had a win, definitely celebrate that and see it growing and getting bigger. Or if there's something that you're worried about, take contrary action and imagine the opposite, because what we're worried about is the actual thing that is like a direct correlation to what we want and what we want, need, and deserve. So if you're worried about Being lonely, that means that you have an opportunity to realize how lovable you are, that relationships are safe, and that you get to be in a very safe, secure relationship. So imagine that, and really, if it helps to close your eyes or go on a walk, but really imagine it and get like all of your senses involved. Really like soak your nervous system in it, as I like to call it, because you're not just like, yeah, I'm thinking about it, rah rah. You're like, how does that feel to have that relationship, to have X amount in your bank account, to have that job title that you want? How, like, feel it in your body and in your nervous system, because you're literally creating a new feedback loop when you do that. So that's the I in imagine success. The T is to take small steps, which goes along with that's the building mastery part. So you want to take some type of small step towards whatever it is that you want. And I recommend committing to one small step, right? So it's Sunday. What is that one small step I can do? And then do it over and over again every day. That is really going to help. And I think that T part, I actually think the imagine success is the most important part, because then it gets you in the mood to, or gets you in that energy and that frequency to follow through with taking small steps and not getting jarred or distracted by anything else. That's really just your inner critic trying to hold you back. And then the A, again, is applaud yourself and really tell yourself, I'm proud of you for that. I'm proud of you for getting outside of your comfort zone. I'm proud of you for not letting the fear just take over in like whatever capacity that you might be imagining, because really your mind, like I always tell you guys, is that powerful. So even if some evidence is right in front of you, like, oh, it's going to be this way, if you decide that you want it to be the opposite, it can be. Neville Goddard is great for talking about this. Neville Goddard, I think it's in The Power of Awareness. I recommend getting the collection of his books and listening to it on audio, so it just gets into your subconscious mind. But one example that I'm thinking of is that one of his clients, she was very worried, her and her husband, they were going to like lose this lawsuit. It was like, the lawyer was like, sorry, I really don't think we'll try, but I don't think you're going to win. And she just imagined the jury saying, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. And they're like, everything was stacked against her. And what happened? The case got dismissed, and it was not guilty in her favor, right? So we have that power. So imagine, applaud yourself for like what the A is, but also go a layer deeper and applaud yourself for things that haven't happened yet. That's where I would go with that. When I teach this, I teach that part too, is to imagine, like, get really excited and congratulate yourself for something that you want as if it's already happened. And the L is for lighten the load. So, and that means mentally and emotionally. So we're not being hard on ourselves. Like, we're not like, okay, and now you have to do more. And now that's not enough. And what about this? Like, when the inner critic is acting up, okay? We got to check the inner critic and then be like, however that works for you. Like, actually, you don't belong here right now. Please leave. And you could just imagine them leaving the building or your mind, or that they're living in rent free, or I've asked you to be quiet, or like go take a walk, whatever that is. Leave the inner critic alone. Or you could just notice what the inner critic is doing, and he's throwing it, or she is throwing a freaking tantrum, and say like, okay, inner critic, you only understand the past and you want to keep me small and in these old feedback loops, and I'm just not doing it. But you could keep kicking and screaming until you get exhausted, but I'm not giving that energy. And the last one is called sweeten the pot. So after it's just like a little reward system. So it's like, okay, I'm going to give myself a little treat. And the S can also stand for, what was it? The success, like celebrating your success. But I like this version of it better. Like, about sweeten the pot, because it's like, it's just positive reinforcement. And when you are training, your animals to do something, you do that. Or if you, with kids, if you have kids, you give them positive reinforcement for things. So it's the same thing with you. Just have it be something that's good. I remember teaching this to one of my clients, and he's like, oh, okay, well, I did, like, he was trying to lose weight and exercise, and I did not tell him this. He had some binge eating stuff. And he's like, look, I'm doing my sweeten the pot part. And then it was like a pizza, a cake, like a burger, like he was just binge eating. And I'm like, that is not That's not sweeten the pot, okay? So when we sweeten the pot, it's just like a little treat that we give ourselves, a little reward, whatever that looks like for you. And it could be, you know, going to do some red light therapy or going to the spa or like the sauna or whatever. It could something like that, right? So that's what we want to do when we do the vitals. So those are your 2 neurological reprogramming tools for the week. Let me check the comments here. Thanks, Bob. Glad I'm good. Hi, Vanna. Hi, Marble Dreamer. Hello, everyone. How do I purify my mind from negative thoughts and ruminations? Well, you could do the neurological reprogramming tool that we talked about. And definitely, I don't know if you are, but like definitely look at my videos, especially my shorts, because there's so many tools is what I'm saying. There's so many ways and there's so many tools to do it. But going on this DBT vibe that we have, what if you were able to you have to be able to take a step back. And again, you have the Marble Dreamer, you have the emotional mind, which is like, I'm feeling an emotion and I'm thinking that I am my emotion. Like, so if you're like, like if you're in a negative space, like you're just like, I am that, I am these things. And then you start to ruminate and ruminate and ruminate. And, so you want to have some distance from it and be able to observe yourself like, oh, look, I'm doing that thing. Right. And then, just like I said last time you asked this question, what is the fear underneath there? Can you actually look at your fears? And I would recommend getting a journal and writing it all down. What am I afraid of? Because you have a fear under there that you're trying to avoid with the rumination. And actually, some part of your brain is associating overthinking with safety, and like even the procrastination, because it's actually a procrastination thing, you're associating it with safety. So can you get out of that, and can you start associating a more adaptive behavior with safety? So stop thinking so much and then start being in your body. What does it feel like to be grounded in your body? And like literally, like, what does my shoulder feel like? Oh, my shoulders are up by my ears. Can I drop them down? How is my breathing? Oh, it's probably shallow. Can I breathe deeply? If you just breathe deeply, you will get out of that high cortisol state where the ruminations are taking over. And also, Marvel Dreamer, I would definitely think about, because everything comes down to self-concept. I've been talking a lot this week with my clients about self-concept, because if you continue to identify, in this case, with someone that ruminates and someone that's like, oh, I just let my thoughts take over, then no one can do anything to help you. But if you're like, oh, okay, I'm learning to separate from this, I'm healing from this, and then maybe in 10 days, it's kind of like I have a little bit more distance, and then not that long, it could be a couple months, it's like, oh, I used to be like that. And I recommend to my clients that they just start doing that immediately. Like, even if they're in the thick of it, identify as someone that, oh, I remember when I used to do that. I remember when I used to be so anxious about everything. I remember when I used to sabotage my relationships. I don't do that anymore. All my relationships are healthy. Whatever it is you want, start identifying with it now. Stop the old story in its tracks. Even if you don't completely believe it at first, we have to stop the old story, because the more you identify with it, the more you're telling your subconscious mind and the universe, like on a quantum physics, metaphysics level, the universe just says yes, so it's going to give you more of that. But if you start identifying as someone that takes massive action, that doesn't ruminate, then that will be your new reality. So I would also recommend a very sharp self-concept shift in an opposite direction. Let's see. My mom and I have been eating ice cream cake from Amy's Ice Creams, and it's been delicious. That said, a ton of sugar. That sounds delicious, Jabbar. Yeah, that's making me want ice cream. Yes, exactly. Bob just said for rumination, DBT is fantastic, and it is. And there's so many tools in DBT that really, and some of them are really like CBT tools, but they're just described a little differently, and they're more focused on grounding in the present moment. So again, it might be something instead of when you catch yourself overthinking, decide, "Oh, I'm gonna go on YouTube or TikTok or whatever and look up DBT." Just get your you have to take contrary action in some way. You have to make the decision that you don't wanna live like this anymore, so you're gonna constantly take contrary action until that's your new normal. So let me know if you have any questions about mental health, healing, your healing journey. I'm gonna pull up the comments in here because it's easier for me to look at, and for whatever reason there we go. Okay, yes. Healthy relationships. Yes, Jabbar. We're about healthy relationships up in here. Um, Bob calms down the brain. Yeah, it definitely does calm down the brain from overthinking. Um, Jabbar or Jabari, what kind of therapy is DBT? It's kind of a subsect. So the woman that invented DBT, she was noticing that regular therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy wasn't working that well on people, like especially with borderline personality disorder, because they're so dysregulated and they're so like out of their body and not able to be in the present moment and so like basically owned and driven by their emotions. And so she's like, okay, so basically she took cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and then invented DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. And there's a bunch of different like tools and things that go under that, but the main thing is that we have the the logical mind, which is rational and logical, but when we're just in our logical mind, we're completely disconnected from our emotions, and that's just as bad. So we're just like, oh well, suppress. I don't want to think about that. And then the emotional mind is just all the emotions and impulsive and reactive and explosive, and that's very draining for yourself and other people, and could lead to a lot of different crises, right? And then the wise mind, and she frames it like a diagram, so it's like a Venn diagram. So the wise mind is in the middle, and the wise mind is where you want to be, where you have that pause between the emotion and your reaction, and you could observe like, oh, I'm feeling this emotion. Okay, that's information. And what can I let me create a pause by breathing, by all the different tools in DBT, but like we want to be grounded in our body before we have that reaction to things, and that's where it got started. In the four pinnacles of DBT are mindfulness, like I just talked about. It's like the cornerstone of it is mindfulness, and then emotional regulation. So you're doing different things like breathing, getting back in your body, asking yourself important questions about like, how true is this? Do I need to react to this? There's a ton of that. And then distress tolerance, which is that's where you get more in your body. And like some people were talking about this last time, like chewing ice, running your hands over cold water, or exercising. I prefer exercising and breathing and doing things like that. Um, and then sometimes like that, like if you want to like rub your arm just to it, that helps some of my clients, especially if they're combining it with inner child work. It's a soothing thing for people, and it's something that you can do anywhere. I prefer giving my clients tools for things that they can do anywhere, and you have to freaking breathe all the time if you haven't noticed. So you might as well do these different breathing techniques that are going to regulate you and drop you back into your body. And then doing a body scan is another one I like. And then when you really do a body scan well and you get good at it, you're like, geez, I didn't even know I was holding tension in the middle of my shoulder blades or in the arch of my foot or whatever, there are all these different places that, our unprocessed emotions are trapped in our body. And then the last one is interpersonal effectiveness, where we learn boundaries. We learn how to talk to people without being in this like emotionally regulated state where we're causing havoc in our relationships. Or on the other side, if you're too much in the logical mind, you're suppressing things and then getting pissed off at them and then cutting them off, or, and then people are like, what happened? So it's all about emotional regulation. That was a very long explanation for DBT, but that's just some of the like underneath, like the more details of it. Let me go back to here. Bob says, I like doing deep breathing and go sit outside observing. Yeah, observing. If you have the ability to go outside, that's another one. And there is something about just fresh air and nature that is very regulating and soothing to the nervous system. And I feel like, whatever your higher power is, whether you call it God, source, or whatever, exists everywhere, right? It's within us and it exists everywhere. But I do think that we can connect with it on another level when we're in nature. And I mean, it could just be like going for a walk. I mean, you could do a lap around your house or wherever you live. It doesn't have to be something like, I'm going into the forest. But I mean, if you want to do that, that's great too. But just being outside and connecting with nature, or let's say you're inside, and you have a house plant, just connecting with your house plant. A lot of people talk to their plants and have amazing results from that. Plants are very much alive and connected to you, or with your animals, that too. Our animals are very connected to us as well. Jabbar says, thanks, Lauren. I love your expertise. We can all benefit from emotional regulation. You're welcome. And yes, we can. Even if the more you go along on your healing journey, sometimes we're in crisis, right? It's like, I've fucked up all these relationships, or I can't live like this anymore. It's some type of, I can't live like this anymore. I can't tolerate this pain, or whatever it is. And so, but once we're out of that, like, keep going. And there are ways to emotionally regulate and become more emotionally aware and mature. And it's just gonna elevate your levels of consciousness. And then you start to get to a place, this is kind of like more spiral dynamics, if you guys know about spiral dynamics. But then or like Maslow's hierarchy is like a simplified spiral dynamics. But then you start thinking about, like, how can I help other people? Because you're not in like survival mode all the time. How can I live out my purpose more? How can I, and then you're connected to God more. So all of these things are helpful for each other. So please don't get to the place, like, this is one of my, it's not a frustration, but like when I have clients and they're just out of the crisis, they're like, oh, I'm good now. I'm like, don't give up now. It's just getting good. Like, things could get so freaking better. Don't just settle for like, I'm okay now. No, let's keep going. And some of my clients are like, they get it. And a lot of those clients circle back and they're like, yeah, I need your help again. But I mean, if you have the ability, and like, you could also manifest that, the ability and the resources to always be working with someone or coaching or doing some type of retreat or whatever, but we want to keep elevating these different levels of consciousness. And yes, emotional regulation is the foundation, but like, keep freaking going. Like, your relationships will get better, your health, wealth, relationships, your career, your purpose, your connection with God, source, whatever you call it. So, yeah. Let's see. Marble Dreamer, how to avoid distractions and gain more focus. Well, let's go back to what I said before. You get to decide, right? Like, let's have that be part of your self-concept. And because if you're like, oh my God, we get just so distracted, and like, if that's your identity, if that's your reality, so decide that I'm not letting my mind, my logical mind, run the show where I ruminate and everything to distract myself. You have to think of the logical, the rumination as like alcohol or drugs or something that you're just using to numb out. So just like with an alcoholic that needs to put the bottle down, and you, or whatever your addiction is, you have this addiction to ruminating thoughts, and you get to just keep putting it down. Put it down. Put it down. And just say that, put it down. Oh, here I go again, contrary action. And you could clap. Some people like the rubber band on the wrist, but just something to regulate your nervous system, drop your shoulders, breathe deeply, and decide, okay, I'm getting distracted again. Let me not do that. Let me go watch a video on DBT. Let me do a DBT technique. Let me breathe deeply. You can do a million things. But what's going to help first is identifying as someone that doesn't get distracted all the time, and then grounding yourself in your body. If you're distracted, you're really not in your body. You might be just in your head. So bring yourself into your body and then ask yourself, what is one small step I can do right now? What's one small step I could do right now? And then do that. Whoa, Lauren, super deep. I totally love God. I love God too, right? And we have God consciousness flowing through us. And I do think that the evolution, like as we evolve, we have challenges that come up. But every challenge that you have is for your evolution. And I do think it's all bringing us closer to God's source, or aligning with God's source more than you can imagine, right? And living out your purpose more, which I do think that your higher power, God, put your purpose in your heart. You're a channel for it, whether it's like art or your funny sense of humor, or to start some type of company, or whatever that is for you. You know what that is for you. And so you get to do that. But yeah, we realize that God is on our side. I think we've all had times where we're in the depths of despair, and it's like, is God there? Does he or she, whatever, exist? Or God, I had this one, when you grow up with narcissistic parents or abusive parents, it's like we project how our parents raised us onto God. So if our parents were like, yeah, everyone gets things, everyone has nice things except you, and you're always punished, or you're the outcast or whatever, you think that God thinks that of you. And so if that's reflected back into your reality, because our self-concept or what we think about ourselves. So like, God provides for everyone except me. God takes care of everyone except me, because you had that identity, or you had that experience with your parents where they were taking care of everyone else, or everyone had safe parents except you. We're supposed to have like a safe concept with or in relationship with our parents. You didn't have that. So it's like, if my parents aren't safe, how could God be safe? If my parents weren't able to provide X, Y, and Z for me, why would God provide that for me? If I was told I'm a piece of shit or nothing by my parents, well, maybe that's what God thinks of me. Not that that's true, but I'm saying that we have that challenge come up when we come from abusive backgrounds. So I do think that as you heal, you have an ability to understand your worth and that you're loved on every level. And then that's, again, your relationships get better, your money gets better, everything evolves in this beautiful way. So yes. Let's see. Jabari, what you shared about spiral dynamics is really interesting. I don't even know what spiral dynamics is, but describing them as more expansive version of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is interesting. Spiral dynamics is deep. Like, I'm still studying it. It's very deep. But so Maslow, and I have his book. It's around here. Okay. I'll have to, on Wednesday, I'll remember to like look into spiral dynamics and and get my book. Now it's going to annoy me, but anyway, I'm not going to, I'm like, where's my spiral dynamics book? But it's really deep. So Maslow, and I can't remember his name right now, that created spiral dynamics. They were professors at a university together. And so Maslow had the hierarchy of needs, but they would have these discussions about basically the hierarchy of needs. Like, when you're in survival mode, it's just about food and getting like the survival. And then when we have that taken care of, when we have that need taken care of, like survival, food, shelter, then we can be at this level of consciousness all the way up to like how the pyramid is of the hierarchy of needs. And then it's like spirituality and connection with God. So the spiral dynamics is a little deeper because it talks about it's color coded, and it talks about different levels of consciousness in terms of like he talks about like the beige people and the purple people and the turquoise people, and they all have different like there's no like rhyme or reason. It doesn't go in like this like rainbow order of color. But it's just like, for instance, like I think beige people, if I'm remembering correctly, are more people that, you know, like are tribal and like maybe live in the jungle. They're not like part of modern society yet, but their focus is communal. And so everything is that way. And they might have more of a connection to source in some ways and not in other ways. And so their priorities and motivation are different. And then people that are the blue people are considered blue in his, you know, the color coding, think like this way. They're kind of like bankers and hedge fund people, and they're snorting coke and cutting people off to get what they want, and they're like greedy people, you know. And so it's like all these different levels of consciousness, and then you could go from one color to another as you like spiritually evolve. But the spiral dynamics has more of a like, as you spiritually evolve, then your priorities and motivations, and then it's all the way up to like teal. And he was saying that there's not even that many like teal people on earth right now that are that like, you know, evolved or connected to source or whatever they're doing here. It's super interesting. I'll give a more delineated thing, and I'll whip out my book on Wednesday because it's super interesting. It kind of goes along with like Dr. David R. Hawkins' work around his diagram around the different levels of consciousness, like from the fear states, like the lowest, like the guilt, shame, grief, all the way up to the highest levels, the highest vibrations, which are love, peace, and joy, and authenticity. So it's super interesting. Jabari, Lauren, I really appreciate as well your gender neutral thing about, yeah, I mean, you know, what's interesting is that, you know, in my spare time, I watch Gaia TV, if you know what that is. And it's like about like, it just has all this stuff like quantum physics related and everything. And apparently somewhere along the lines, it was like written out of the Bible or whatever, but God like had like a female counterpart, like a wife basically. And the way like God source was described, it's like, or how, you know, some people say Heavenly Father, Holy Mother, God. It's like, it's all in there. And I mean, I don't really care. Like I go back and forth between saying God and like, you know, he, she, like, I don't have any thing to it. I usually say God or source because it's the source of everything. But yeah, I mean, some people, whatever works for you, whatever your higher power is, and gender wise or whatever, fine. Like let that work for you. And if you've ever, I was like kind of re-listening to the book Conversations with God by, his last name is Neil. I can't remember right now. But anyway, it's called Conversations with God. I'll look it up later. But if you listen to the audiobook, it goes back when he's talking to God, it goes back and forth between a masculine, like a male voice and a female voice, just to reiterate the point that like God doesn't actually have a gender, but we conceptualize things like that. And especially if we're thinking of our higher power as this provider and protector, that's typically like masculine energy. And then like the earth is like nurturing and grows things and like, you know, provides and creates. So, but it's all like, this is earth, like, or this is God, everything is God. So anyway, that's my little spiel on that. Hi Bones, how are you? Bob, I have a friend with very high anxiety and ruminates outside of DBT. What advice would you have for her? I invited her tonight. You in here, Hoff, LOL. Oh, cool. I'm glad you invited her. So what advice would I have for someone that has very high anxiety? I would definitely do some DBT work, and especially if but you're saying outside of DBT, so she's not open to it. Is that what you mean, Bob? Because yeah, I mean, it's really nice when you have a friend that's like, hey, this really worked for me. But if it's outside of DBT and her anxiety is high and she's ruminating, I'm hearing that that person's disconnected from their body. So just doing things to get in your body. Can she go to a yoga class? Can she go to like a sauna, or like you know those places where they do like red light therapy and then they have like a cold plunge, like you could do back and forth. Contrast, it's called contrast therapy. That's really good for getting in the body, and it's great for nervous system regulation and upregulating your immune system. But it has to be something where that's comfortable for her to ground in her body. Can she dance, like, or listen to music and dance? So if she doesn't want to do DBT, I would say something that you find, that something that Hoff finds enjoyable, your friend, that could ground her into her body, that is not a numbing out behavior. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of people that have anxiety and ruminate, they can be drinkers or smokers or overeat. And so getting away from that, breathing deeply, of course, and then doing something to ground yourself in your body. Bones, Bob, what's up, brother? Just hanging out tonight in the AC. Got a humid day today. Same thing. Oh, yeah, it was like actually cold here in California, and then the sun came out. Yes, everyone stay hydrated. I got dehydrated. It sucked. I've been drinking that stuff called Cure. It's like those packets. And there's one called like Tropical Punch that's so good. Hey, Avian, how are you? Bones. So I was messaging on the YouTube live, but there was only one person in there. Then I came in here. What's the difference? I don't know. There's two. I don't know. Well, I'm glad you're here, Bones. We like your comments. Marble Dreamer, is finding our people a signal? Is finding our people a signal problem? What do you mean, Marble Dreamer? Is finding our people a signal problem? Explain. Avian, I'm hanging in there. Just completed training and I start my new job tomorrow. Oh my God, we're sending you so much amazing energy for your new job tomorrow. It's going to be great. You're going to have a great first day, Avian. So excited for you. And looping back to the self-concept thing, it's you get to tell yourself, I'm going to have a great day tomorrow. I'm so excited about this new job. This is leading to so many wonderful opportunities. I'm going to be loved and respected and well received at this new job. Like, tell yourself that, pump yourself up. And I'm telling you that right now, you're going to have an amazing first day at your job, and like everyone's going to love you and it's going to be great. And you'll learn the things you need to learn. And just remember, most people at the job or at any type of job halfway know what they're doing. So, don't be afraid to ask questions and just be your happy, enthusiastic self. Yay. Bob, this feed is shorts, so people this feed is short, so people scroll in randomly, tends to be more engaging with chat. The full screen. Oh, yes. The full screen is less trolls, though. Got it. Yeah, it is. And I think like on my software, it shows both. But yes, thank you for the clarification. So on my my software, I do Streamlabs. It'll do both, and it just recommends that for like the algorithm, because some people like to watch on the vertical and some people like to watch horizontally. But yeah, a lot more people watch on the vertical. So I'm glad, for whatever reason it does that. Bones. Oh, I see. Yeah. Jabari. Lauren, that's amazing. I will look up Gaia TV. I should reach out to Gaia TV and see if I could like be an affiliate or something, because I am like very into Gaia TV. Like I'm watching something about like energy, like channeling energy appropriately, like in your body, and then stuff on the, what's it called? Not the Kabbalah, but the tree of life. It's so interesting. I just love that stuff. Anything that's connected to like psychology and spirituality. I love what you shared about Heavenly Father. Yeah. That was very helpful for me when I learned about that, like Heavenly Father, Holy Mother, God. I learned that from Barbara Martin. I studied under Barbara Martin for some time, and she's, well, I don't even know how to describe her. She's like a spiritual teacher, And she's written books like Change Your Aura, Change Your Life, and then Communing with the Divine, where if you want to communicate with these higher energies. And so I studied it under her for a long time, and like that was one of the ways to like open up communication, is to say Heavenly Father, Holy Mother, God, and what the difference is between those energies, just from not even from a religious. She is like more Christian, like personally she's, I think I'm like Catholic, but she talks to people in a very like a very broad scope, like in terms of spirituality. So yeah, we do like God source that has everything, has a masculine and feminine, right? Even within you, whatever your gender is, you have a masculine and feminine, an anima and an animus, as Jung would call it. Everything in nature has a masculine and feminine. Electricity, like AC/DC, like everything is that way. There's a yin and yang to everything. And when that masculine feminine is off, things don't go well. But you can, when, for instance, if you were a traumatized child as a woman, you tend to overly operate in your masculine energy, and you want to control everything, and you're very stressed, and then you date men that take advantage of you in certain ways, and then the same is true with men that are traumatized, and they get into this thing where they're not fully in their masculine, and then they tend to have women that are kind of way too in their masculine. Sometimes women that hate men, actually, they attract. So until those things are balanced out within your own soul and your own energy system. So yeah. I'm thinking of that book that's really good. If you're a guy, what's that called? It's like the way of the warrior of the, it's about, I mean, I read it and it was very, is it the way? I was just talking about it with a client, but it's about like for men, like getting back into your masculine energy. But as someone that was traumatized and not attracting the right type of men at the time, it was helpful for me to read The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, I think it's called. The Way of the Peaceful. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. But highly recommend that book. Peaceful, I'm looking it up. Yes, by Dan Millman. Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. I highly recommend that book if you I just think all men should read that book, and women too. But you'll get something way different out of it if you're a woman or in your feminine energy. Bones, a numbing out behavior for me is drinking, unfortunately. Bones, that's good awareness. I've had times like that too. So if you can sit down, preferably with a journal or getting out your computer, some type of writing. If you're really like, I hate journaling, then you could do voice notes on your phone, even talk to ChatGPT, talk to someone, talk to a coach. Like, just, all I'm saying is no excuses, process your thing. But like, yeah, sit down with your journal. It's like, what am I numbing out from? Ask yourself and see what comes up, and let yourself just free write. Like, no editing, no, it doesn't even need to make sense. Just let everything that needs to come up, come up. Bob, what if she doesn't have something she enjoys? I keep trying to get her to find a hobby, but she doesn't know where to start. Okay. So, Bob, what I'm hearing here, and I was getting a flavor of this, is that, remember how we talk about like some people are really addicted to their misery or whatever their victim space is. It does sound like that, right? Like when we get to a point where we're in so much pain that we'll try anything, like you don't know what you're into, like try something, get outside of your comfort zone. Like right now, I feel like she's very comfortable complaining more than taking action. And so like there has to be something besides complaining about the condition that she's in that she likes to do. There has to be something. And then if there isn't, then it's like, get outside your comfort zone and try. Just do something. does she like, I mean, she's a friend of yours. So is there an activity that you do together that is like, do you guys go out for drinks with a bunch of mutual friends? Like there has to be something. But when I have like, and I've had friends do this and I have to draw a boundary, I'm like, I'm more invested in helping you than you're invested in helping yourself. And it kind of sounds like that to me right now, Bob. But, so I would take a step back, just be like, you know what? Find something you enjoy. First of all, deep breathing, ground in your body, and do something, that you enjoy instead of complaining. Like you can't just, if you're perseverating about the problem, it's like, that's all you're feeding is the problem. So there has to be one thing that she can do instead of constantly feeding the problem. And like, yeah, it seems like there is an addiction to the anxiety and the rumination. That's fine. I've been addicted to ruminating and anxiety and using alcohol to like, and whatever else, toxic relationships. I've been there. But I made the decision that I don't know how the hell this is going to happen, but I have to choose something different. So maybe she needs to get to that place where she is in enough pain, but don't work harder for someone that doesn't want to help themselves. But there's something that she has to be interested in. Bob, Bones, that just punches the problem for later. It does, yeah. Bob, I know, bro, but it's a hard habit to break, dude. And keep trying, Bones. And then also, I'm just going to challenge you. Maybe say it's not. Maybe I'm giving alcohol too much power, and it's not that hard to let go of. And often, alcohol is called the disease of loneliness. So do you feel lonely? Do you feel alone? Do you feel not supported? Do you feel abandoned in some way? Dig into that and journal about it. Maybe you haven't even journaled before in your life. Good, start now. Contrary action, baby. That's where it starts. When we take contrary action, our life changes for the better. Hi, Steve. Yes, congratulations, Avian. Hi, Brianna. How are you? How you doing, girl? Bob, yeah, it's rough, Bones, especially in the beginning. Have you tried meetings? They're helpful for me, but I know it's not for everyone. Not yet, Bob. I don't think I'm at the point, but I have thought about it. I'm a closeted drinker. Yeah, like program meetings, like AA meetings, they're for closeted drinkers. They're for people that drink every day. Like there's this misnomer, I think, that it's like alcoholics are just drinking. I mean, some of them do. Some of them wake up and drink. And some of them will go 3 months without drinking and then have a big blowout. Like there's all kinds of like alcoholism and dependency. But the point is that alcohol is not positively contributing to your life and you want to do something about that. And you can also attend meetings now on Zoom. You can also go on Spotify or all those other platforms and listen to AA meetings. So take steps, Bones, in that direction just to see, because the energy in there, like you'll feel it. Like you'll feel like, and people, in meetings, like people tell their stories. So I would invite you, Bones, to just either like look up AA meetings on Spotify, because and they all mutually agree, like this is going to be a meeting where we record it, or it's just they'll record just the speaker part without the sharing. But also go on Zoom and look up AA meetings that are over Zoom. I mean, you could find one in Germany or like England or like, wherever. If you don't want it, or you could change your Zoom name to something that people don't know if you're like worried about that. Even though it's called anonymous, because it could be someone that's like your next door neighbor and you don't ever talk about it. I've had that in meetings before, and I'm just like, if they want to come up to me, I don't care. But, I never admit to knowing anyone. There's like, I've been in meetings with tons of famous people and just never mention it. And think about it. Like, people like take that really seriously. How often do you hear about so-and-so celebrity was an AA? I mean, people are more open about being sober now. It's kind of like trendy. But all I'm saying is no excuses. Just try going to a meeting online, Bones, and let us know. Report back what you think. You don't have to stop drinking. Just go to the meeting and see like what you get out of it. And go to a couple meetings actually on Zoom. Or in person, but I'm just saying Zoom is a good place to start. Jabari, yeah, Lauren, I just became an affiliate of Dime Squad Media Marketing. It's an amazing partnership. please do reach out to Gaia TV. Yeah, and I've never heard of that. Dime Squad Market. Okay. Um, Bones, I guess you can call me a functioning alcoholic. That's good awareness. And it sounds like you want to change that, Bones. So you're in a really good place. You wouldn't be talking about this if that wasn't the case. Bob says, Bones, so you know anyone who goes to AA, I bet they'd be thrilled to take you. That is so true about 12-step programs. The community is so great. Like if you express any interest, they'll be like, "Oh my God, like no judgment. Everyone's so warm and welcoming." Also look for the big book meetings rather than commitment meetings. Big book is more about processing and healing. That's true. Yeah. Good advice, Bob. Thank you for that. Hi, Peter. How are you? It's good to see you. Hi, Lauren. Hope you're well. Seems I'm more comfortable with the end of my relationship. Question: how to limit doomsday thinking about the future? Um, so you're more comfortable with the end of. So did you end a relationship? How do I limit doomsday thinking about the future? Well, first of all, instead of limiting the doomsday thinking, like address it. That's your nervous system. That's your inner critic. Remember, your inner critic only knows the past. Your inner critic is like constantly looping the past, and it's like, what about we got abandoned that time? And what if these abandonment feelings come up this time? Yeah, it's probably good to end this relationship, but the abandonment, okay. So we have to acknowledge where the inner critic is freaking out. And the inner critic doesn't understand that it's 2026 and that you have more tools. And like the inner critic is also trying to keep itself alive and keep those old patterns alive that you don't need anymore. Maybe at one time you needed them for survival and you don't need them anymore. Excuse me one sec. Okay, hopefully you didn't hear that. So acknowledge it, right? Just like I think Peter, you were reading Letting Go. Like in Letting Go, it's like we don't suppress, we don't try to limit, we acknowledge that it's there, and then we let it go. And we know that like that fear is false evidence appearing real. There's no doomsday. Even like disconnecting from or unplugging the doomsday word from a healthy ending to a relationship. Can we change that to this is a healthy ending to a relationship? There's no doomsday going on. It's a healthy ending to a relationship. Is where I would start with that to release that. But we do want to acknowledge what the inner critic is afraid of, and then tell the inner critic that's actually not the truth. And also, because you do inner child work too, Peter, ask your inner children what they're afraid of. They're definitely having some type of abandonment response that's not true. So go to your inner children, ask them what they're afraid of and why they are feeling this doomsday type of thing, and remind them that there's nothing to be afraid of. This is a healthy ending to a relationship, and we can just let that go, and it's all working out in our favor. Marble Dreamer. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know of people that have went to Bob, just not for alcoholism, but for drugs, and as well, some helped, others it didn't. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we're ready for things and sometimes we're not, but even if it didn't work, like if you relapsed, it's still like helpful, you know? The whole like didn't work thing, that doesn't, I mean, it's still working on an energetic level. I wouldn't measure the success or if it worked by, you know, if you stop drinking or not. Just go. It can only help you in a positive way. Is the point. Um, Bob, yeah, it doesn't work for everyone, but definitely worth a try. Either or is applicable. Only difference is NA is drugs. Yeah, but it's the same steps. It is. All of them. I mean, they have a 12-step program for almost anything. Jabari, wow, I saw the movie The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, definitely look into it, Bones. Let us know what you think. Oh, you're welcome, Bob. Peter, I'm trying to process feelings as they come up. Wait, as they come, but a lot of times not sure the male the male in psych steps in to say, "Stop complicating and take care of your shit." I try to ignore, but worried I might become numb. Okay, perfect. That's good. And we don't need to do the whole, like, stop complicate like, ignore your shit. Like, you have a doomsday feeling, and I really feel like because of everything that you've shared with us over the course of a lot of live streams, and thank you so much for your vulnerability, Peter, is that I feel like with you, your abandonment wound is being triggered, and that's okay, and that is normal. I'd rather you have a high level of awareness through the work that you've been doing, so that is something to celebrate and be proud of yourself for, because now you're like, okay, this is coming up. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to feel this way. And I don't want this doomsday thing. So, can we get to, I guess, what I'm calling the root of it, where it's like, where is this abandonment anxiety coming from? Why is there a doomsday? Like, did you have a cycle with your parent, or like a pattern with your parent where if you did a certain behavior, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm going to get in trouble? That's a very common trauma response. It's like, "Oh shit, it's coming. I know as soon as, our company leaves, or as soon as I get home from school, uh, I'm fucked." Is it that old response? So think about that, Peter, because I really feel like it's connected to that. Um, Roger. Okay. Well, I might have a clone somewhere, who knows? Um Bones, good advice, sister. Yeah, I already identified my triggers, so I guess you are on the right path, Bones. Yeah, you definitely are. I think you're on the right path more than you're giving yourself credit for. And I know that that piece of, like, letting go, because sometimes when you're like drinking, or any malignant behavior is a part of your life, it's like, I don't want to let that go. Like, your nervous system does associate it with it like a friend. Like, that's my friend. I don't want to give up alcohol, even though the other part of you, like, knows better, knows that's not really a good friend. So all I'm saying is like, you can get that connection piece through AA, and you really understand on a deeper level that you're not alone, which is so important. It's a really important part of healing to know that you're not alone. Um, Let me see. Uh, I was able to complete oh, wait. Avian, I was able to complete my psychological evaluation, and I'm waiting for my results. Nice. That's great. I love it. Um, I don't know why it's typing like that. Um, Fantastic, Avian. Bob says, I hope you get them sooner rather than later. Yeah. No, Bob, no such thing as what? True? What do you mean, Bob? Um, Peter, thanks, Lauren. I guess the thinking was towards the thing that life would be challenging alone. I try to process it as the future is not written exactly, but it is a work in progress. So I will get. Yes, it is a work in progress. And how about, I would like to challenge you, Peter, to shift that concept of, like, life is difficult alone, because I think that when we, come from chaotic or abusive parents, they do this thing to their kids. They're like, oh, you're not going to be anything without me, you need me. And then we tracked our partners and romantic partners that do that. They're completely toxic. We feel alone in the relationship. It's like, I'm in this relationship and I've never felt so alone. But then the idea of ending the relationship is terrifying, because then you're alone, and you've had this programming around, like, yeah, if you don't stay with me, you're going to be alone, or your life is going to be fucked from the abusive person or people in the past. And you get to know that that's not true. You really get to know that your life will be so much more fulfilling once you get toxic people, places, all the things, once you get that toxic energy out of your life, once you make the decision to release it. And so in knowing that and trusting yourself and that you are so on the right track, you know, anyone that's seeing this right now, you are so on the right track if you're in that space. If you had the courage to decide to leave a relationship that is draining you, is abusive, that is making you feel alone when you're right next to someone or you're supposed to be in a relationship with them, it's not positively serving you. And it does take a lot of courage to leave those relationships. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it is so worth it. And you're doing the work. You're doing the work, Peter. So again, focus on the fact that like life is just getting better and better for you. And that could even be a mantra. That's one of the mantras in the Silva method to rewire your brain. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Literally, every day in every way, you are getting better and better. Peter, Bob, Dylan, all of you, Avian, all of you, you are. And every time you tell yourself that, you're fortifying that. You're giving that energy in life. And really, really, you're never alone. And really, there's so much healing, and like you will deepen your connection with God or whatever you call your higher power when you understand, when you genuinely enjoy being with yourself. You realize that you're never alone because you have your connection to higher power, whatever you call it. But like that what am I trying to say? That when you enjoy being with yourself, you know that you're whole and complete. So there's nothing terrifying about not being with someone. It enhances things. Like you could have a partner to enhance your life in certain ways, but you're never alone. You're really never alone. So, and that's where you're going, Peter, which is so exciting. Bob, sometimes it's nice alone. Yeah, exactly, Bob. We're like thinking the same thing. You got this. Avian, I like to be alone peacefully as well. Helps me focus. Yes. I'm telling you, that retreat time where you just get to, it's just new for your nervous system, Peter. But I have a feeling that you're going to really love it. I agree with you guys on that. Bob, Jor said, no such thing as, was just asking him. Oh, I see. Avian, parents are controlling these days. They can be. Hello, Tirthayan. Hi, J. Rowe. How are you? Miss Clayton, what did I miss? I'm here. We went over a lot of stuff. Peter, it is so true. The last few years, I've been so alone in my relationship. The sad part is I realize she probably felt the same way. I realize if you are happy with yourself, you will never be alone. See, you are doing so much better than you're giving yourself credit for, Peter. Yeah, and it's I feel like one of the most painful places to be when you're in a relationship and you just feel so alone and feel so unsupported. So you are doing the right thing. This is all going well. Insecurity, how to deal with, help me. So if you're dealing with, I'm just going to say in general insecurity, that there is an opportunity to deepen your sense of worthiness. And also with insecurity, because there's so many types of insecurity, like emotional, financial, and a lot of times they go together, right? So insecurity is literally like you don't feel secure or safe in some place. So where in your life, if you were to just look in your past, that things weren't safe, things weren't secure, things weren't stable. And so a lot of times those things carry us into adulthood until we decide to look at them and let them go and decide that I don't need to. Yeah, I grew up thinking that being insecure and things being chaotic was normal, or having like a ton of self-doubt because the people around me, my caretakers, like told me not nice things about myself. So pinpointing where the insecurity came from, or the multiple sources that insecurity came from, and how it's showing up in your life right now. So it's like, do I not have the confidence I want? Do I not have the relationships that I want? So Can I change? Do I not have the money that I want? Can I understand that I'm worthy of having whatever like financial status that I want? That I'm just innately worthy of that. And I'm innately worthy of having the relationships I want just because I'm me. And I don't need to like go out of my way or prove it. And I don't have to believe anymore that that like I'm putting it on a pedestal. Like that's for everyone but me. You know, a lot of times with insecurity things or imposter syndrome, it's like everyone is good at that or everyone gets to have that except me. No, you especially get to have it. You especially get to have the life that you want. And I will say it, I'll never stop saying it. Your desires and what you want for every area of your life are divinely put in your heart. They're given to you by God, source, whatever you call it, for you to have. You have that desire because it is meant for you. That money, that relationship, whatever it is, the health that you want. And sometimes we have to be in these like crisis points in our life with certain things to be like, wake up to the fact that, wait, I deserve more. Wait, I'm sick of living like this. Wait, I get to have this for myself. I get to live out this dream. I came here to pursue this, not this job that I hate, right? So it is about owning our worthiness and owning what we are really, like owning our desires from a place of like, oh yeah, God gave me that desire because it's for me, so I get to have it instantly. I will die on that hill because it's true. J. Rowe, I'm striving for greatness, Bob. Some days are tough, some days are bright. I love it. I love, you are growing in your greatness. It's not even like you're striving for it, J-Ro. It's like you are in flow with it. You're accumulating it. You have momentum around your greatness every day. And yeah, some days are tough. And then when they're tough, you're just like, thank you for this challenge. And thank you for, maybe I don't need to take it on. Maybe it's something I need to surrender and not feel like I need to take on this thing that it's different for everything. But a lot of challenges, sometimes it's just like old patterns that you don't need to take on anymore. That's why I said it that way. But yeah, ride it, those ebbs and flows are like, surfing through them. Good for you. Should always strive for greatness. Yes. And it ebbs and flows. It does. Marble Dreamer, advice for chronic fatigue and tiredness. Well, it depends on what it is. So, because first of all, if you're having chronic fatigue and tiredness, I would definitely get some labs done, like before anything else. If it is, but I do think everything's interconnected, and I do think everything is like spiritual and interconnected. So if you're being drained of your energy, ask yourself, what am I giving my energy to that's not serving me? Start there. What am I allowing to drain my precious life force? What am I giving time to that doesn't deserve my time? That's not serving me, not positively serving me. So I would do those two things, but like on a biological level, this is not medical advice, so I just also want to say that. And also getting your labs done is interesting. It's just good information. But from what you're talking about, Marble Dreamer, I do think it is related to the anxiety and rumination. It's exhausting to be that way. That's why I gave you all that advice before. Rewatch this and listen to that advice, because instead of just asking the same question, so you're not ruminating anymore, actually take action towards the outcome that you want. And I promise you will be happy with the results. You'll be in a better place than you are right now with the rumination. J. Rowe, Miss Clayton, this being alone stage kind of sucks, but sometimes it's good for me and sometimes it's not. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, it depends on, I do think that having time by yourself is good, but I understand that. When you're saying it sucks, I'm assuming that you're expressing a desire for like a partner or to not be alone, or have more of a community. So you get to have that too. I just think what I'm talking about being alone is actually being okay being alone. I'm not talking about just like actually like the physical part, like I am alone in my place or whatever. I'm talking about being alone and feeling like so good with yourself, like actually feeling good about being with yourself is what I mean. And no matter if you are in a relationship or not, having that is so important. Having that feeling of always being okay with yourself is what I'm talking about. But if you have a desire to be with someone, then start to create that. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Write a list of what your relationship looks like and how you guys treat each other and what you do on a regular basis and how you help each other grow and how you support each other. It's a really good exercise to do, is to write that down and start to live in that space and visualize it. So you're not just jumping into like some relationship that's not serving you because you feel lonely. Jabari Lauren, is it okay to ask how you feel within your relationships? I feel great within my relationships. I've done a lot of work to only allow people in my life that are supportive and caring. And, sometimes that's hard. The hardest breakups actually have been with like friends that just, as I evolve, they're like, what the fuck, you think you're special, like type of thing. And which is sad, but yeah, but those people, they gotta go, and so I tell you guys the same thing. So we want, especially like your inner circle, you want people that are just giving you life and supporting you, especially if you're a giver and an empath. You want people that are giving you that energy where it's like reciprocity and there's synergy in it. Need another drink of water. Peter, I feel like the coffee from the movie The Green Mile, so much pain, like pieces of glass in my brain. Oh, I'm sorry. The simplest solution is me getting out of the way of myself is the hardest, but not giving up. And also, right. So, and I'm sorry, I hate when people are in pain, but like Peter, you feeling that way is like, okay, I don't like this feeling. And I think you're talking about this because you're ready to let it go. And so feeling all of the feelings, just like in letting go, they talk about like, I'm really uncomfortable. Okay, actually feel into all of it. Like feel every shard of glass as you're describing it. Like just let it all be there and like exaggerate it to the max, right? So it's like, oh my God. And what if like think of all the doomsday things, like exaggerate it if you want to, like to the max, right? And then it's kind of like, okay, that's all my fear. Can I let it? I'm still going to survive. I'm still going to be even better. Can I let it go? And by the way, all of that anxiety, and it's like none of it's going to come true. So can I let it go? And also, I love that you say, but I'm not giving up. And it's like you not giving up on yourself, which is the most important part, Peter. And I know that is something that has been a growing edge for you because you put everyone else before you. So also give yourself a lot of credit for that. Like, look at me showing up for myself. Like, I'm proud of you, Peter. I hope you are too. So you're continuing to do it even when it's uncomfortable. But I promise you this time of discomfort is very short relatively, and it will pass and things are going to get so much better. Tom, I'm bipolar and trying hard to find me. I am either depressed and anxious or manic. Hard to find a middle ground. It is hard to find a middle ground, but you can. Especially, I'm telling you, all you need is the willingness. Whatever you want to change in your life, whatever you want to be, do, or have, you have to have the willingness, and you have to believe that the outcome that you want, you have to believe in the outcome that you want more than your fear, more than the old story. Just let the old story go. It was there. It doesn't, like, literally the past doesn't exist. Every breath you take, you're a new person, and all you have is the present moment. So whatever happened in the past, I don't care if it was your whole life, right now is a new chapter. Really, it can be if you decide and claim that it is. And so if your willingness is high, like I am working on this, I am not letting my life being controlled in this way, then you're on the right track, Tom. It will get better. James, do you do telehealth calls? If telehealth is related to insurance, I don't take insurance, but I talk to all of my clients via Zoom, basically, Zoom or FaceTime. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tier Hey, and thank you so much. Your words build so much confidence that I believe I am on the right track. Love. Thank you again. Means so much. Of course, of course. And thank yourself for being able to receive that, right? You know, because some people, even in my private practice, I'm saying the same thing and they're not wanting to receive it. They're not wanting, they would rather advocate and further limitations. So it sounds like you're in a place where you're really ready to receive something new. Bob, I heard someone once say, write a list of what you want in a partner and then become that in yourself. Then you'll attract that type of person. Yes, become that or be the counterpart for it. So for instance, like, and this is true for like when I work with women, they're like, okay, I want a provider and protector. Well, you have to allow yourself to receive. You have to allow yourself to be courted. You have to, you know, or if you want a woman that, you know, maybe has a more of a traditional role or wants to support you in these type of ways, then you have to be the counterpart for that. So yes, become it, but also in certain things, become the counterpart for it, which will bring you more into your masculine or feminine energy, depending on, you know, which one that you are. So yes, I would say that, but especially stuff for like confidence. And if you want someone confident and loyal and that takes care of their body, well, I hope you're doing those things too. So yes, I agree with that caveat. J-Ro, Miss Clayton, I have been divorced for a couple years now, and to be honest, I don't even know how to date anymore. Well, a date, you know, it's just, you're just meeting people. Dating, here, think of it this way. First of all, let it be fun. Let dating be fun. There's a novel thought. You know, go on the internet and download some apps. And then you're just, think about it as you exploring yourself through another person, because that's what that's what all relationships are. You're just learning more about yourself. All relationships are a mirror. So can you have fun with it? You know, so all you do is you chat with people online, and then if you feel interested enough to meet with someone for a drink or, you know, for a meal or something, but yeah, talk to them before. Do not go on Tinder. I mean, you know, I don't recommend Tinder. Just because, I mean, it depends. What you're saying is that it sounds like you want like a real relationship, J-Ro. So Tinder, it seems to be more for hooking up. But starting there, but also, you know, do the exercise that we were just talking about, like listing the qualities that you want, really thinking about it. And then I also recommend like do a day in the life with this person. And how does that look like? Because it really brings things into, it solidifies things more. Like, how's your communication? What do you guys do on a Monday night versus a Saturday night? Like, think about it, like really dig into it. It will help you. But I would challenge you that you don't know how to date. I think that you probably do know how to talk to other humans. It might be intimidating, but you could let that go. Like, this is a time to be like, okay, I'm going to have some healthy confidence and I'm going to make this fun. I'm going to make dating fun. Yay. Jabari, I'm glad, Lauren, and grateful that your relationships are, oh yeah, thank you. Bob, Lauren is the streamer, LO. Peter, thanks, Lauren. Appreciate your supportive words. We have one life, yes, and we get to be in the driver's seat. Yes, we do. You get to be the main character of your life. This is your movie. This is your video game. What has happened doesn't have to define, yes. Not only does it not have to define your future, like how about it doesn't define your future? The past is the past. Literally, if it happened an hour ago and it's an outcome that you don't like, that's over. And now you're creating this. Now this gets to be your new reality. Freaking claim your reality as yours. Your new reality. I can decide what it will be. Exactly, Peter. You get to decide. Like, you are the screenwriter, the director, the actor, the main character in your movie. So coming from that empowered place, I love it. I'm so proud of you. Tom, thanks for the advice tonight. You're welcome. Hi, Lion. Same J-Ro, I know your pain. Bones, Bob, well, I don't know her name, jeez. Um, J-Ro, Bob, and Miss Clayton, thank you again for so much. Thank you so much for your help, man. I love this channel. Oh, you are so welcome, and thank you, Bob, like, we love Bob, and Bob gives so much good advice and support, and, like, I just very much appreciate you, Bob, and as does everyone here. Um, let's see, Jabari. J-Ro, I get what you're saying as well, that the culture has changed so much. It has, but you can be traditional. I'm a traditional person, like, and I don't know exactly what that is. Hi, Jojo. But in a way, it's easier. You go online, you could see pictures of people, you could just chat with them over text and then, move to a phone conversation. And then maybe you want to meet up with someone. Or you could even do a video chat to make sure you're not getting catfished. That's a good move too, in terms of dating. Jojo, I can relate to the person who said was has afraid to date again. Me and I to date me, I had a woman literally giving hints gonna and was kind of scared. Never said a word to her, felt dumb once I got in my car. No need to feel dumb, you know? Just think of it as fun. Think of it dating as fun and just putting yourself out there. If you're a guy and you ask someone out and they say no, no big deal. Whatever. That's just the universe helping you out and getting that person out of the way so your real person can show up. Hello from London. Hi Rod. So I'm telling you, if you have the attitude of like, this is fun, I get to learn more about myself through these different mirrors. I get to understand like what I really want out of a relationship through these experiences. Just change your, just try it for a week, just for fun. Just be like, oh, my new self concept, my new concept of dating is that it's fun and it's a great way to explore myself. Just try it. J-Ro, Jabari, you're right. It doesn't have to be scary. If you say it's scary out there, the world will reflect that back to you. Like the universe is very literal in that way. So if you decide that, hey, it's actually fun and I meet really interesting people, like, and you know what? Maybe I come across some scary people. I have too, but it's like, okay, that was part of my learning experience. What attracted why did I attract that into my experience? Was it to have better boundaries? Was it to understand something about myself? Oh, look, again, that's a great mirror because dating is a mirror. Um, whoa, Lauren, you're traditional. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm more of a traditional, like masculine, feminine roles. Um, Bones, a man for reals. I don't talk about any of my alcohol shit to nobody. This channel is the Bombay. Well, I'm thank you for your vulnerability, Bones, and I just feel like you're on the precipice of, like, really, like, some transformation. I really do, and it's just one day, 1 minute at a time, and I don't know, I just see really good things happening for you, and I'm honored that you share these things with us. Avian, I never wanted to date someone, just not worth my time. Okay. Right now, just work on yourself, Avian, like have the focus be on you. Because again, and this is another thing, another hill that I will die on. You only get to have relationships, whether they're romantic or friendships, whatever, that give you life. They don't get to drain you. They don't. So if it's like, oh my God, no, then no, that's not the person for you or the friend for you or anything. And then you know what, take time and be alone and work on loving yourself and putting yourself first so you stop attracting people that are just takers and energy vampires. Bone says, "Lauren, you are helping people trust me." Well, that's good. Victor, the only relationship I like is food. Well, we could expand on that. Um, but glad you're getting your basic needs met through food. Bob, it can be scary, but it's worth the risk. I took like a decade off of dating after some drama. Using the apps helped me to test the waters out and develop more confidence and communication skills afterwards. Exactly. And Bob has a great relationship, like a very healthy like relationship with a woman that he's very grateful to have in his life. See? See, but he took the time to work on himself. Perfect. That's all I'm saying. Yes, Avian loves food. We love food. Matthew. Hi, Matthew. Victor. It's scary for him because his face scares. Oh, come on. Happy birthday, Matthew. Bones. That letting go book is good too, by the way. That was a hell of a recommendation. Yeah. That book, Letting Go, I mean, I listen to it now because I want it to get it into my subconscious mind and I'll, when I'm cleaning up or driving. But I've read and listened to that book so many freaking times. And every time it's like, oh my God, like I never heard something in it before. It's just so good. I can't recommend. That's one of the kind of like holy grail books for me. Lauren, please live on that hill. Okay, thank you. I'm going to live on the hill that whatever I said. Okay, well, let me wrap up. Thank you again, Bob, for all of your amazing feedback and keeping these streets clean with the trolls. Everyone say thank you to Bob and all of his amazing feedback. And let Bob be an inspiration to you with the dating thing for you guys that are scared of dating, right? Like it's worth it. It's worth to just take that time off, recalibrate with yourself, and then just start to test the waters with dating and let it be fun. Let it be fun. Let it just be a way to explore different parts of you. Bob, well, yeah, it's a survival trait for women. We want for women to want resources. That's nature. I'm just a big proponent of nature. I don't like, in my opinion, like everything is masculine and feminine, right? So especially if you're thinking about having kids, it's like, there's a point where you, as a woman, you can't do everything, even, and I've worked with women that were single moms, like when they were having the baby, it is fucking rough, And so, but when masculine and feminine energy complements each other, I think it's a beautiful dynamic. But like wanting, not like, I'm not talking about a gold digger thing, and men are gold diggers too, by the way. But we have parallel with beauty and fertility. Not everyone is shallow. Better not to judge. And you know what? The shallow people, those people will find each other. You know what? Like attracts like. So if you're feeling that way, then that is what will come to you. But I'm talking about like healthy masculine and healthy feminine energy. And that's why I think it's so important to work on that, whether you're masculine or feminine, because when you are really in that space, then you will attract someone that is in their healthy masculine or feminine. And then you'll have this like safe couple bubble where you can be intimate with someone emotionally and obviously physically and all of the things, and you could support each other in every way and grow and like prosper together. Otherwise, it's going to be, and I work with couples sometimes, and always with couples that have problems, either both people, like the man is too feminine and the woman is pissed about that, or the woman's too masculine, and it's just like you have to balance that out. There has to be that synergy. And I'm not saying like some people, get together and they want like it just as long as the masculine and feminine energy is balanced out, whether you're gay, straight, I don't care what you are, it just has to be balanced. Otherwise, someone feels taken advantage of and someone feels, just degraded. It just always is that way. Jojo, I tried an app once, but those women want me, Prince, in shining armor. He doesn't exist. Avian, thanks, Bob. Yes. Bob, pleasure as always. Happy to help. Thank you, Bob, Jabari says. Victor, would you date a broke man? No, I wouldn't. I would not. And just like I don't think like a man would date some like a woman that was 300 pounds and like take care of yourself. Like, and I think that men, need to do that first. Like, if a guy's broke, you can't take someone out on a date, and part of masculine energy is being a provider, protector. Again, I'm not talking about extracting resources, but no, I wouldn't. And I totally tell my female clients to not date broke guys, because when they do, they get taken advantage of and they get drained and they just feel taken advantage of, like, in every way. They're like, why am I doing this? This guy's not bringing anything to the table. Jabari, Lauren, and Bob, I totally appreciate your help. You are welcome. Bob, you're all very welcome. It's my pleasure. Dosh, not as much ever. Bones. All right, y'all. Have a good evening. You too, Bones. Peter. Thanks, Lauren and Bob. Not even close to thinking of dating before being happy with myself. Excellent. I love that. But we'll certainly use Bob as an inspiration when the time comes. There you go. My goal is to truly be happy with myself. Yes, that is what I'm telling you. That's the shit. Is be happy with yourself. Then you'll never feel alone. Bob, that was directed as a previous comment for the record, not a criticism of you, Lauren. Oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. But okay. I don't think you're criticizing me. You're awesome, Bob. Victor, masculine men work 8 to 12 hours and hit the gym daily. Bob, you'll get there, Peter. I believe in you. Nothing wrong with taking time for yourself. I mean, not only is nothing wrong with it, there's everything right with it. You are going to really have outcomes that you want when you focus on yourself and take time for yourself and rebuild all things and support your evolution in those ways. And I'm proud of you too. Jabari, LOL, I'm broke currently. That could change in a minute. Change your self-concept. Okay. You know what I meant about that, though. Like, men want certain things from relationships and women want certain things from relationships. And when you're in your healthy masculine and healthy female or feminine energy, it's very balanced. There's no gold digging, there's no shallow, there's no taking advantage. It's just this beautiful synergy. You're in this nice, safe couple bubble. But a lot of people don't do that. And then they have chaotic relationships and then they accuse each other of being crazy and gold digging and toxic. And it's like, both of you guys are. Like, get a stop. But anyway, thank you guys for all of your wonderful questions and feedback and sharing. Thank you, Bob, for everything that you do and your feedback and your inspiration and keeping the streets clean. And I love you guys so much. I will see you on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's when I live stream again. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you, Lee. Yeah, Lauren, building a business. Nice. Yeah, just keep focusing on you and yourself. You're welcome, Marble Dreamer. Bob, take care, everyone. Got you. Tonight was pretty well behaved. Yeah, it was. See, we're putting out the vibe. We're just attracting the good people. That's why we have all these awesome people in here. But all right, you guys have an amazing night and amazing week. Do those neurological reprogramming tools I talked about in the beginning. And I will see you on Wednesday. I love you guys so much. Bye.